Book TV recently visited the Reagan Presidential Library in Simi Valley, California, where radio host Mark Levin offered his thoughts on the press.
CNN is not a free press. MSNBC is not a free press. The New York Times is not a free press. The Washington Post is not a free press. A free press is a press that's not pushing an ideological agenda, that isn't in the back pocket of one party or another party, that isn't pushing social activism, whether it's climate change or what have you. When you turn on the TV today, most of these channels, they are browbeating you with their propaganda, with their left-wing agenda and so, hello there, with their left-wing agenda and so forth. That's not freedom of the press. Freedom of the press is actually occurring outside those types. It's on the internet. It's with websites. It's with bloggers. It's with news people all over the world. They're the new pamphleteers. The difference between the modern media today and the patriot media that helped founded this country is the patriot media, the men with the printing presses, with the pamphlets, 30-some newspapers, that was it. They were trying to fundamentally transform government. They wanted representative government, and they didn't even want a lot of that. Today, the press is trying to fundamentally transform us, not the government, the civil society, and the individual. That's diametrically opposed what the press is supposed to be. When is the last time, I've said this on the radio, when is the last time there was a leak to the New York Times that was helpful to the President of the United States? It never happens. When is the last time there was an expose in the Washington Post that was negative on Nancy Pelosi? It never happens. They beat this president and beat this president and the people who support him every day. They did it before he was elected. They did it during the election. They've done it since the election. They're doing it today. That's not a free press. That's propaganda. That's what that is. And to answer your question, what this book does, it's not a surface level book. I look at the history of the press. I look at the Constitution and history, and I said, I'm really dug into this issue of the press. Where does it come from? Why is it important? And so forth. We think we know, so I look at that. Then I look at the evidence. It's overwhelming of what goes on in our newsrooms today. There's no diversity in our newsrooms. It's all one way. And then I looked at how the American people think of the press today. 80% of Republicans don't trust it. 80% of Democrats do. Well, why do you think? And then I look at the social activism, like Chuck Todd announcing on Meet the Press, where he says, we're not going to do climate change denying anymore. I said, who the hell is this guy? Is he smart? No. Does he have a particular background in this subject? No. Is he a hack? Yes. Okay. There are physicists, there are PhDs, there are people, climatology, meteorology, there are thousands of them that have written extensively about this. So now they're banned from going on Meet the Press because we are climate change deniers. Does anybody here deny that there's climate change? What we deny is there's any damn thing we can do about it. That's, there's a sun up there, So I think people are looking for answers, and people are looking for arguments. And what's exciting about this book to me and your reaction to it is, what I'm trying to generate here, I remember I was part of the Reagan Revolution, the Tea Party Revolution, the Article 5 Convention of States Revolution. And what we're trying to do now is defend the Constitution and those who want to remove a duly elected president of the United States. And what this book does is explain who they are, because they're political, they're a force, and if we're ever going to get our country back, if we're ever going to get our freedom of the press back, we have to deal with these people. And that's what this book is about.
I was thinking, Mark, when I read your book, that if President Trump had been given the opportunity to give it its title, he'd call it Fake News. That's be his thing.
It's a brilliant title. I wish I'd thought of it.
I was listening to your show a few months ago, and it became apparent. I think you had an opportunity, maybe quietly, and maybe more than once, I don't know, to sit with our president, to talk with our president. I'm not asking you to betray any conversations or confidences, but having met with him and having spoken with him, should we have all the confidence in him that you think we should?
I don't meet with him that often. There's an occasional conversation. And I will tell you, this is a very smart man. He's an enormously charismatic man. He knows what's going on. He knows where he wants to take the country. He's not anything like he's portrayed in the media. He's very deep. And, when you look at him compared to Biden, it's like a joke. So I would tell you this, in the Republican primary, I supported Cruz. And then come the general election, I supported the president, Trump. And I'm glad I did, because a lot of his positions are so solid. And I don't know that any of those other Republicans on the stage, as I think back, could have withstood what he's withstanding right now. Mm-hmm. And I think we are extremely fortunate that he's there. He stands between us and them. And he and his family are taking more crap than any president or family should have to take. It is outrageous what the left gets away with, what Pelosi and her husband get away with, what these chairmen of these committees get away with. So I have told my family, I will do whatever I have to do, whether it's go on Fox, whether it's behind the radio, whether it's write a book, to defend this republic and this Constitution against the mob that is trying to forcibly remove a duly elected president of the United States.
On the mob, it's a good point. Bill Barr, our new Attorney General. Do you think, Mark, because you were Chief of Staff to Ed Meese when he was Attorney General, you know that place. Do you think that the Attorney General is going to be successful in getting to the bottom of all that went on behind the scenes and all the intelligence agencies and the FBI? What do you think we're going to find the truth of what actually happened?
I could not be more proud of Bill Barr. He didn't have to take this job. He'd been Attorney General before. He'd been enormously successful, General Counsel and CEO. He could have gone off to the villages like Robert Mueller and been done with but he didn't. And he is cool-headed. He's cool as a cucumber, this guy. He knows what he's doing. They're going to hold him in contempt. Is this a joke? I hold them in contempt, by the way. And I don't need a vote to hold them in contempt. I just hold them in contempt. He is a man of the law. He comes out of the Bush administration. He doesn't have any axes to grind. But he sees that we have a rogue House of Representatives. He sees that we have rogue committee chairmen, that they have one objective, which is to try and destroy this president and his presidency. You got 6 committees using government-paid-for staff, using tax dollars, that have turned the House of Representatives into an opposition research organization, an appendage to the DNC. That's why they want his taxes and his bank records and his financial. I've never seen anything like this in my life. And he challenges them. He says, I'm not going to give it to you. We'll go to court. He's going to sue them and go to court. And they say that's obstruction of justice. This is like the dumbest House of Representatives ever.
Mark Levin's new book is Unfreedom of the Press. You can watch the full conversation by visiting our website, booktv.org and using the search box at the top of the page.